Today I'm going to discuss with you finding the volume of a rectangular prism. Volume refers to how many cubic units are used to fill up a prism or a pyramid. But today I'm just going to focus on finding the volume of a rectangular prism. I am going to show you some pictures of rectangular prisms with given dimensions. Okay, I have here, sorry for that. I have here some pictures of rectangular prisms wherein the first picture shows how many cubes are used to create the rectangular prism. If you're going to look at this side, at the bottom layer, we have 4 cubes, and each cube is 1 cubic centimeter. So this is composed of 4 cubic centimeters, but it says just 4 centimeters. And on this side, which is the width, is 3 centimeters. And on this side, which is the height, from top to bottom, there are 5 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cubes, and each cube is 1 centimeter long, or the side, okay? And in finding the volume, we use the formula V, which is volume, equals L, which is length, times W, which is width, times H, which is height. The raised dot here means multiplication. I used raised dot because I am using letters to represent my terms, okay? So the length is 4 as it is being shown here, and the width is 3 as it shows here, and the height is 5, which is shows here. If you're going to multiply this, we are going to multiply the 4 and the 3, that gives you 12, and 12 times 5, that gives you 60. So this is composed of 60 cubic centimeters. Why do we need to express our answer in cubic units or cubic centimeters, since the given unit is centimeter? It is because volume refers to how many cubic units are used to fill up a space, or how many cubic units are used to make a prism, okay? Especially this rectangular prism, because as I have said a while ago, we are just going to focus on rectangular prism. Okay, I have your number 2. If you could see, the length is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the width is 2, 1, and 2, and the height is 1 and 2. So the length is 5, the width is 2, the height is 2, so 5 times 2 is 10, times 2 is 20. So the volume of this rectangular prism is 20 cubic centimeters. Okay? Why do we just count the bottom layer here? Because whatever the length of this is the same as the length of the top layer, and we cannot say 5 and 5. No, because we are just referring to the length. And this one we cannot say 2 and 2 because we are just referring to the width. And this one here refers to the height, how high or how tall the prism is. Okay. Now let's move on to number 3. If you're going to look at number 3, there are no given numbers. Just count the bottom layer. This is the length, this is the width, and this is the height. Wherein the length, if you count, there are 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. So I wrote 3 for length. And if you're going to count on this side, which is the width, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So for width, I wrote 4. and the height is from top to bottom. We have 3 here, 3 cubes, so I wrote 3. So the volume of this prism is 3 times 4 is 12, times 3 is 36 cubic units. Why did I say units here? Because there is no given specified unit, if it is meter, centimeter, feet, or whatsoever. So I just use the word units. Okay? So if you are not given any dimension at all, and the picture is divided into cubes, just count the bottom layers for the length and the width. Okay? Do not count everything. And then count only one layer from top to the bottom, and that's the height. We're not going to count everything, okay? Because we're just referring to the length, how long, to the width, how wide, and to the height, which is how tall, okay? Now I have here the fourth picture, which is the length is 10 centimeters, the width is 17 centimeters, and the height is 4 centimeters. So if you're going to find the volume, length times width times height, so length is 10, width is 17, and the height is 4. So if you're going to multiply 10 times 17, that is 170, times 4, that gives you 680. Okay? Now let's move on to the next. Number 5, which is my last example. I have here also a rectangular prism. Okay? Now what do you think is the length? This is the length part. Okay? This is the length. So it is 2. And how about the width? This part is the width, which is 8. And how tall is it? From top to bottom, it is 5. So the volume is 2 times 8 times 5, and that gives you 80 cubic centimeters. Okay? Now, this is only for what we call this, if you're given the picture and you're just going to find the volume. How about if you're given word problems? How would you know that you are asked to solve for the volume? Now, I have here 2 word problems that I prepared, okay? Problem number 1, it says, and filled up, okay? I'm going to remove this. And filled up her sandbox with sand. How much sand did she use if the sandbox is 6 meters long, 5 meters wide, and 3 meters deep? Now, there is no word height here, but there's the word deep. Deep means the height, how high it is, okay? The height here is sometimes expressed as deep, depth, tall, or layer. Those words refer to the height, okay? If you don't see the height and there's the word deep, that represents the height. The word tall, that represents the height. The word layer, that represents the height. What gives me an idea that I am going to find the volume? First, I have the length, I have the width or the long, the length, the wide, the width, and the deep, which is the height. So I am given 3 dimensions. So meaning to say, I am given a rectangular prism. And it says filled up, meaning to say how many cubic meters of sand is used to fill up the sandbox. So that gives me an idea that I'm going to find the volume. So I have here V equals length times width times height. So we have 6 for the length, 5 for the width, and 3 for the height, which is deep. So 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 times 3 is 90. So, and used 90 cubic meters of sand to fill up per sand box. Okay, now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says Andrew filled up his aquarium with 60 cubic feet of water. Filled up meaning to say it's full, okay? If the aquarium is 5 feet deep and 3 feet wide, what is the length of the aquarium? Okay. Now, since it says filled up, meaning to say the 60 cubic feet here is the volume. The word cubic gives you an idea that that is the volume, okay? Because as I have said a while ago, volume refers to how many cubes are used to fill up a prism or a pyramid. And we're working on rectangular prism. So the 60 cubic feet here is the volume, okay? You are given the volume, you're given the height, which is the depth, and you're given the width, which is the wide. The question is, what is the length? So your first step is, if you're given the volume and a dimension, one dimension is missing, the first step is multiply the given dimensions. Like, for example, here, the given dimensions are the height, which is the deep, and the width, which is the wide. So you multiply 5 times 3, that gives you 15. And then you are going to divide the given volume, which is 60, by the product of the given dimensions, which is 15. So 60 divided by 15 is 4. Therefore, the aquarium is 4 feet deep. I hope this video would somehow help you um, having an easier way or a quicker way of understanding how to find the volume of a rectangular prism. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.